Hi, everyone. Hi, LinkedIn Live, and welcome to episode 4 of Mice Bites by Authentic Meetings and Incentives. I'm Natalie Horan, and today we're joined by Freddy Muller, a very good friend of mine and Associate Vice President of Corporate and Incentive Sales at Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. So Freddy's with us today to share what's going on over at Royal Caribbean, what's new, what makes them special, and why you should host your events at sea. At the end, we'll open up to a quick Q&A, so drop your questions in the chat. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, Natalie, thank you for this great opportunity. Working with companies like yours is always exciting, as the majority of our business is actually run through third parties. Most of us are some way, somehow familiar with Royal Caribbean. Some of you hopefully have hosted programs or sailed on board our ships. So today, really, the focus is on what's new, what's exciting, and really what separates apart. We're one of the leaders and one of the most innovators out there at sea, and primarily it's because of the way the ships are purposely built, not only for the leisure side, but also how we manage the ships, for corporate meetings, incentives, and you actually forgot the charter side of things. So we actually run programs from 8 cabins all the way up to we've had 2 ships side by side hosting over 12,000 guests any given time. So with that, let's just jump in real quick on kind of what really separates us from the rest. We spoke a little bit of how innovative we are. Our ships are mostly built with dedicated meeting space, but more so also, we also have a lot of private venues that are multi-purposed. And what I mean multi-purpose is that they're actually be able to be used for what they were built for, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on, but also to host additional meetings and breakouts. Customization, as you'll hear through kind of the theme throughout my next few minutes, is we offer customizations not only on board, but also shoreside with our dedicated group shore excursion department. Dedicated team, I do believe we have a young team, but we still have over 100 years of combined experience between a team of 45 highly dedicated people here at Royal Caribbean, just to manage only MICE business. As well as you have the support on shore side, you also have it on board, as all our ships also have onboard coordinators to help you kind of deliver the programs. So kind of like your banquet event team members that you would experience in a hotel. Again, we spoke briefly about what separates kind of Royal Caribbean, definitely our award-winning entertainment, signature activities. We'll talk a little bit about dining and some of the venue space. Meetings and events. We'll see how I mentioned earlier about some of our events being multi-purpose. We'll talk a little about team building, and something that really even separates us even further is we'll talk a little bit about destinations. So here we're talking really about meetings and events. Some of you that have not sailed on Royal Caribbean, it's still hard to believe that you have an ice skating ring on board most of our Royal Caribbean ships, and we'll talk about how we actually use that for some of the meetings and events on board the ships. As I mentioned, dedicated conference space. We'll have the ability to make them anywhere from U-shaped theater style. Most of the conference rooms can accommodate up to 400 guests, but we do have the air walls to separate them into 4 different venues. Theater, multi-purpose. So imagine all the audio-visual equipment that we use for some of our Broadway shows. That is also accessible for your events. So this particular theater holds up to about 1,400 guests. They all average between 12 to 1,400. As I mentioned, the ice skating rink during the evenings, but during the day, we can actually, close the ice floor and be able to offer it as kind of like a second backup theater, which would hold up to 700 to 900 guests, depending on the ship. We spoke about some of the other lounges. These lounges can be used anywhere from breakouts, be able to do one-on-one appointments. Music hall on the upper left-hand side, we've actually used that area to host even other more creative events, but also we can put seats in there and put drop-down screens. Again, if you need maybe a third tier theater style event venue. Now, this is kind of like one of our more blank canvases. This is actually on our Ovation class ships. These ships navigate in the waters on the West Coast as well as Alaska. We've done team buildings from yoga mornings to, um, private dance studios for some of our corporate events. Solarium, this one's really more used for receptions, cocktail parties, kind of like an enclosed outdoor area. Some of our ships actually have a little bit of more of a breezeway where these windows open up, but this is definitely a two-tier area for that's great for receptions. As I mentioned earlier, we do have the ability of customizing almost every aspect, and that includes actually the proposals that we send to you. We can offer it a la carte, or we can include it as an all-inclusive concept, including beverage packages, internet, specialty dining, and obviously entertainment is always included in the price. With this added value compared to maybe a land-based program, you will always see a savings anywhere between 30 to 40% if you're comparing apples to apples. One of the things that we do offer is probably one of the largest arrays of complimentary dining venues on any given our ship. And this is just a small selection of what you can experience on any of our 28 ships that we have currently at sea. And for those that wish to maybe increase a little bit the experience, we also have the ability to do kind of dine arounds. And our probably more popular ones are like Chops Grill, Giovanni's, Mason Jar, Chef's Table, Hooked, and some of these others. As new ships roll out, we have a couple new ships coming out in the very near future, with the latest one coming out, Stars of the Seas, which we'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes. Will offer even more dining options. No meetings and incentives can be done without team building. And as we spoke a little bit about ice skating, we also have the ability to do bumper cars, the ever popular now pickleball, which is not only offered on board our ships, but also at our private destinations. Flow Rider, iFly, escape rooms, laser tags, just some of the other options that we offer on board. As we've enjoyed the day, now we roll into the evening with more networking and bonding events. We have our signature red disco, which is also the ice skating ring that in the evenings and turns into a nightclub. We have some ships that also have the attic, another nightclub. But in the solarium, as you can see here, we do the very popular still is silent disco. Karaoke bars throughout the ship, but some of our ships have up to 28 different bars and lounges, as well as if you want to take your chance with Lady Luck, you can always attend, go to one of our casinos. As mentioned, we kind of want to talk about really what's new and what separates us apart. Perfect Day at Coco Cay is still one of the most highly sought out destinations on the cruise side. Not only are we going to talk about some of the ships that are soon to come online, but some of the private destinations that we'll be offering. To complement Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we'll be in 2027, we'll be launching Perfect Day in Mexico. This is in Costa Maya. This will be a truly private destination for Royal Caribbean. We're also opening up towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, but more towards the end of this year, is a Royal Beach Club in Nassau, which will follow by one later on in 2026, which is the Royal Beach Club in Cozumel. As I mentioned briefly, Star of the Seas will be rolling out in August of this year, so look out for some opportunities to be able to experience her when she comes out. And then her third sister ship in class, which would be Legend of the Seas, will be debuting in the Mediterranean in 2026. Stars and Legends are sister ships to our very popular Icon of the Seas, which Natalie did have the experience of sailing not too long ago. Spoke a little bit about these. Now, not including just some of the new ships that we're building, we're also sending on many of our vessels over to dry dock. One of them is Allures of the Seas, which she's currently in dry dock right now and going over $100 million refurbishment. So she's basically going to be coming out one of our new ships. This is one of our Oasis class vessels. we spoke briefly about the Royal Beach Club, but wanted to share kind of a little bit of the experience. The ship is, I mean, this destination is very much well on its way. If you've ever been to Nassau, when you look over to Paradise Island, that strip of land right there, this is where this Royal Beach Club will be located. We're very excited about this one. And then obviously Perfect Day in Mexico. More details to come out on that one. I think we're going to learn from what we have offered in Perfect Day at Coco Cay and then kind of bring this over to Mexico. So really excited about that. So I think the Caribbean is going to be able to offer a lot of different cool ideas for your incentive programs. As I mentioned, we have 28 ships currently sailing, 21 in the Caribbean, 6 in Europe at the moment, 4 in Alaska, as that's still a bucket list destination, 5 on the West Coast, 4 in the Northeast, and then we're soon to announce our Australia as well as our Asia ships. When you have a chance, feel free to scan one of these QR codes. This will give you a little bit more updates on what's going on at Royal Caribbean at any given time. The QR code on the left will give you access to our LinkedIn profile, as well as on the right-hand side to our website, which is currently also being refreshed, just like some of our vessels. So at this time, I really want to just take a moment and say thank you again to Natalie and to all of you for listening in today. Hope you're able to learn a little bit more about what's going on at Royal Caribbean. And always feel free to reach out to either Natalie or myself if there's any way we can help you.
Thank you so much, Freddie. That was great. There's a lot more to Royal Caribbean, obviously, but this is a good update on what you guys have going on over there. Hang on, So one question is, what is your ideal group size?
That's a great question. So as I mentioned, we run programs anywhere from 8 staterooms all the way up to 2 ships side by side. But I think our sweet spot is roughly about 100 cabins. And kind of the reason why is because, having anywhere between 4, 5, 6, 7 different dining venues, as well as the size of our lounges, it still might give you the ability to maybe offer some kind of exclusivity, but would not necessarily have it to charter the entire ship.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we didn't get any other questions, but I did experience the Icon of the Season. It was amazing. And yeah, everybody should reach out to Freddie. Oh, Chris Darnell. Hi. Chris Darnell says hi. No question.
Chris is one of the ones that we need to get on board. So
I know, right? Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Freddie. Thank you so much. And we will be back next week. So much and see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.